So welcome to this episode of Luv Subbin. We're going to do something different this week. We were shouted out by another awesome YouTube channel called East Coast Streamers to do 40 questions and 40 answers.
Okay, so question 40 is really not so much of a question. It's more of a challenge to others. And so what we did was we chose 3 of our favorite RVers, and we're going to challenge them. So we're going to challenge Mark and Carrie from Art of RVing. We're going to challenge Kyle and Renee from Happily Ever Hanks, and we're going to challenge Rich and Cindy of Luv Subbin. All of you have inspired us, and
Absolutely.
we love watching your videos.
Love watching you guys.
And we would love to know more about you.
So we're going to try that today, and we're going to go and find Rich. I think he might be outside doing some maintenance, so let's shout some questions out to him. So it's a gorgeous spring afternoon, so we're going to go look for Rich and see if he's going to answer some questions for us. And as you can see, still trying to figure this thing out. So what are you doing?
I am doing our spring maintenance right now.
Very cool. So we've been requested to do 40 questions.
Okay.
Can you manage to do that and do your spring maintenance at the same time?
I probably can. I've done this more than once.
Okay. So let's get started.
All right.
So 3 things in your toolbox that you can't live without.
3 things. So I would say, I've heard me say this before, my offset screwdriver is definitely one. My multimeter, my electrical multimeter for checking voltage on stuff. And I would say my can of WD-40.
Ah, that's probably one of my favorite ones too.
Yeah.
So what's your dream RV trip?
My dream RV trip, so this is a dream RV trip, right?
Yep.
Would be to put this puppy and that truck on a ship and send it to Europe and RV in Europe. And if you think it can't be done, oh, the truck's too big. No. Check out this picture. It can certainly be done with the places that these guys have gone.
Cool.
That's my dream RV trip.
Very cool. All right, question number 3. What was your scariest moment ever?
That would probably be when I went skydiving. And it wasn't skydiving because that wasn't too scary. It was the exact moment when the instructor opened the door to the plane and I was looking 8,000 feet straight down.
Yeah, I went up in the plane as well, and that was a pretty scary moment, even though I didn't do the actual skydiving.
Yeah, no, that skydiving was fun. It was just that moment.
Yeah, I could see that. So what's your scariest moment in the RV?
You know that one because it scared the crap out of you too.
Yeah, I think it did.
We were in Watkins Glen State Park in New York, and there was thunderstorms in the area, but it wasn't raining, the skies were clear, and I swear to God, we had a lightning bolt hit within 100 feet of where we were. And to the point that the Rangers came by to make sure everybody was okay. But when you have a lightning bolt hit that close, the door to the truck was open. I literally dove in headfirst into the truck. It scared the crap out of me.
I remember it was one of those instantaneous lightning strikes and thunder at the same time. It was just
So loud. That was my scariest moment ever in the RV.
I think I yelped on that one. Even though I do have a scarier moment for me, but you weren't there for that one, so
that might be next week.
That might be next week. What book are you currently reading?
I am currently reading Custer and Crazy Horse, 2 parallel warrior life stories by Stephen E. Ambrose. Excellent.
That sounds interesting.
It is.
So, question number 6. What movie should have won an Oscar for Best Picture but didn't?
I think there's a lot. Believe me, there's a lot. But the one I will say is Star Wars in 1978. I remember, leave in the comments below if you remember seeing Star Wars in 1977 when it first came out. I mean, that movie, Cindy and I watched it just a couple months ago, and the effects are still blowing us away.
Right.
I mean, 40 years later, and that absolutely should have. You know what won?
What movie won?
Annie Hall.
Oh, okay.
Over Star Wars?
Woody Allen, Diane Keaton. Oh, she did have some good fashion moments in that one, apparently.
Yeah, well, whatever. So did Princess Leia.
On the movie genre, what movie made you laugh the hardest?
Well, surely that would have to be Airplane. I mean, that movie was the funniest movie ever.
Best RV advice you've ever received?
Best RV advice. I would say use radios when backing up and don't ever, ever get mad.
Good point. Lots of opportunities to get mad.
Yep.
State you're most looking forward to taking the Airstream to?
That would be hopefully after the International Rally, and that's South Dakota.
Any particular spot or?
Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
Definitely. And I think Devil's Tower's in South Dakota too, isn't it?
Yep.
Badlands National Park, all that stuff.
Black Hills?
Absolutely.
That's a good spot. Okay, if you could switch lives with somebody for a day, who would it be?
I was trying to think of a fighter pilot, but no, it'd have to be Elon Musk. I mean, think about it. That guy's got the coolest company, 3 of the coolest companies between SpaceX, Tesla, and the Boring Company. And every day you're trying to figure out how to get to Mars or how to make a car factory and batteries work.
Plus he has some funny tweets.
Yeah, you'd have access to his Twitter account, which would be even better.
So if you could sit around the campfire with someone from the past, who would it be?
I would think that would be, I think Walt Disney would be a good one. I think he would be interesting to see how he came up with his ideas, what it was like in the early years of the Magic Kingdom, and I think that would be really interesting, talking to him and picking his brain and stuff like that.
Yeah, he sounds like an interesting person. So, what is your favorite country to visit?
Germany.
That's one of my favorites too. I also like Austria. What country do you wish to visit next?
I think as part of our 30th anniversary, it would be Japan.
I would love to go back to Japan. That would be awesome.
Yes.
So, your favorite state park?
I think right now,
Or maybe your favorite campground?
yeah, I would say Myrtle Beach State Park that we hit last year. I thought that was absolutely spectacular. Right on the beach, the campgrounds were beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of them, but...
Favorite camping app and favorite non-camping app?
Well, we use Campendium for everything, for finding campgrounds. That's how we find campgrounds all the time. And my favorite non-camping app would probably be, I just heard a plane fly overhead, and that would be Flight Radar 24, so that you can hit your button, your app, and it will tell you what plane is overhead, aircraft type, where it's going, where it's landing, altitude, speed. Is the coolest app ever. Flight Radar 24.
Pretty cool. Campendium is also good on Instagram. They do some nice photos.
Yep.
And show nice places to camp on Instagram as well.
Absolutely.
What are your top 3 non-RV YouTube channels? We got a bunch of them, don't we?
Yeah, you probably have guessed. I do watch a lot of YouTube, but I would say my top 3 non-RV and would be, first of all, number 1 is Sailing Yacht Ruby Rose. Nick and Teresa they have one of the best personalities in all of YouTube. They're sailing around the world, etc. They're building a catamaran right now. Number 2 would be the History Guy. And his little tagline is history that deserves to be remembered, short snippets of forgotten history. And it is so interesting to listen to this guy talk. And I guess the third one would be Aviation 101. And he's the guy that I use as an inspiration to try and make my videos better. His videography, his storytelling is top notch. And so I usually aspire to him.
So what's the one thing you wish your RV had but doesn't?
An inverter.
Good one. If you could own any car, what car would you get?
Any car.
Any car. Price no object.
Yeah. And that's pretty easy. For me, it would be a 1987 silver Porsche 959 black interior.
Is that an expensive car?
I think they're going for, when they were sold new, you had to apply for one. New they sold for in 1987 around 230,000. I think they're going in the $1 million+ range now.
Jeez. Oh, so we're almost halfway through.
Okay.
Best part about owning an Airstream?
It's easily, I mean, RVs are great. Any RV is great, but the thing that sets an Airstream apart are the community of Airstreamers. Without a doubt, between the WBCCI, the just seeing another Airstreamer on the road, flashing your lights, seeing one at a campground.
Yep.
That's the best part.
Plus, there's so many out there too on the road that
definitely a
are
lot more.
vintage, and they're all very interesting. Worst part of owning an Airstream?
Waxing it.
That's a long job. Favorite classic cartoon character?
I guess growing up, it would be Scooby-Doo. I always liked the whole Mystery Machine, Scooby-Doo kind of thing. I thought...
Going out and solving mysteries?
Exactly.
So an interesting little bit of trivia about the word Scooby-Doo. It's British slang. It's the rhyming slang, like in Mary Poppins, like Scooby-Doo, have a clue. So Scooby-Doo means clue.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So, number 22, most disappointing place you visited with your RV?
Yeah, we even made a video on it, which apparently everybody else thinks is disappointing because nobody's watched that video. And that was the Vidalia Onion Festival in Vidalia, Georgia. You know, I'm going to this festival thinking this is going to be the greatest thing in the world. There's going to be onion ice cream, onion soda, onion rings, onion everything.
Right.
And there was one dude selling a bag of onions, and there was a bunch of carnies and
Carnival rides and random crafts that had nothing to do with onions.
Yeah, if you wanted like a door sign made or something like that, it was great.
Yep, I agree. So, favorite musical artist of all time?
Kenny Chesney.
Any particular song?
Probably Boys of Fall. I
Ooh.
love that song.
Okay. So, what is the most useless thing you've ever bought for your RV? That's an interesting question.
Yes, I'll show a picture of that here in just a second. But I bought a 15 to 30 amp dog bone. It's a cord, and I'll show a picture of it. And it is absolutely useless because you plug your 30 amp into it and it pulls the 15 amp right out of the plug. Yeah, but just a regular adapter is so much better for that. It's ridiculous.
Okay. So, number 25, if there was a yearbook for RVing, what would you be named? What would be underneath your picture?
I think I would be voted most likely to be irritatingly organized.
That's a good point. If you could compete in any Olympic sport, what would you choose?
Luge.
I think that would scare me. What's the next thing you're planning on buying for your RV?
The next thing, like these guys. So we are buying a little thing. I guess they're like scales that sit on the bottom of your tank here, and it sends a Bluetooth app and lets you know how full your tanks are, because we're always just guessing. So,
well, I think a lot of the newer RVs or Airstreams come with a tank monitor system already attached, and you can check that even through your phone.
yeah, ours is quite ancient.
Yep. What's the most unusual food you've ever eaten?
That was at a Boston wine festival, and it was a risotto made from the organs of a sea urchin.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was like, ugh.
So I'm assuming that you didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of sea urchin.
So on the same subject, what's your least favorite food?
Any uncooked invertebrate mollusca.
So you're just starting to like oysters though, right?
Yes, but they have to still be cooked. I can't do it when they're raw.
So question number 30, what's something that you're trying to master?
Videography, and especially depth of field. I want to figure out how to get that blurry background.
Yep, we're still working on that one.
Yep.
Grossest thing you've ever seen while RVing?
That would be...
And I think I remember this one too.
Yes.
I think you have a picture of it somewhere.
I do have a picture of it. We were at the dump station in Salisbury,
And
Massachusetts.
We couldn't believe this happened.
And a truck camper pulled up in front of us, and who didn't have a hose to connect his dump tank. And my man just pulled the valve, and whoosh,
And let it go.
all that black water just went right onto the ground, and off he went.
Along with a lot of other things that were unmentionable.
And there was somebody behind me, so I just made sure I had gloves on. God bless, that was gross.
That would have been a good time to have a mask too, huh?
Yeah, that's the only good thing about the pandemic is we'll have masks for dump stations.
If you could have anything for breakfast, what would you choose?
One of my favorite breakfast things is a breakfast burrito. I think that those are the best things on the planet. And the best breakfast burrito I ever had was actually on a Carnival cruise on their breakfast bar. I mean, it was just like burritos, and you can put whatever you want in it. It was spectacular.
So it's like eggs and salsa and general yumminess.
General yumminess.
And what's your favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero would be Batman, but it's got to be the Adam West little pudgy purple Batman. It can't be one of those like
Ripped ones?
yeah. Who? I don't even know who did those other ones.
Who did the earlier
Kurt
ones?
Cobain or something like that.
Kurt Cobain. No, I think it was a Michael Keaton.
Yeah, his was okay, but there was somebody else. Maybe Val Kilmer. Didn't he do one?
Yeah, maybe. They all had the ripped little costumes, but holy guacamole. You picked the Adam West version.
Exactly.
So what would you choose as your spirit animal if you could choose one?
Beaver. Nature's little engineer. You can't beat a beaver.
That is true. So question number 35. What is your go-to cocktail?
Go-to cocktail is a Bombay Sapphire Martini, straight up, wicked dry, 1 olive, 2 onion cocktails.
Not sure I'm a big fan of gin. What is your natural wonder that you would like to take our RV to?
Well, this is going to sound weird because Sin and I, of course, want to do Devil's Tower, Badlands National Park, but the one thing I want to see when I get out to the plains, don't laugh at me, but it's a tornado. My family survived the F5 tornado that hit Lubbock, Texas in 1970. And since then, I've always wanted to see a tornado off in the distance, way away.
Way away.
Doing no damage.
So number 37, what is your biggest RV pet peeve?
My biggest RV pet peeve is when I'm trying to hitch up, I'm trying to go, and it's clear that I'm trying to do that, and somebody walks up and says, wow, they still make those things?
Yeah.
Oh,
true.
Jay, they're the Cadillac of trailers. Do you mind if I ask how much it costs?
Or what those red numbers mean.
Yeah. That's
why it's good to have a checklist.
That's exactly why it's good to have a checklist, because you get distracted, because we're always polite and everything, but...
So number 38, what major sporting event do you hope to attend sometime in the future?
That would be, I want to go to an English Premier League soccer match and afterwards hit a pub and drink beer with a whole bunch of rowdy British people. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And sing those chants and fighting songs and
yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I watch it on TV and it just, well, nowadays it stinks, but you know, when everyone's there and they're singing their songs and they got their stuff, I just think it's a spectacle that would be really cool to see.
Question number 39. Say something in a foreign language.
Ich hab mein Herz in Heidelberg verloren.
Where does it come from?
It's a saying from where I went to high school. I've lost my heart in Heidelberg.
Ah, very nice. So question number 40, this is the last one.
Nice.
I'm sure you're glad. Most amazing thing you've seen while RVing?
I would have to say our entire stay at Big Bend National Park was absolutely, for the first time we were in cactuses and desert and those huge mountains and the colors and, you know.
And the mesas.
Yeah, I mean, people's, you know, sure, Colorado and the Rockies and all that other stuff is great, but, you know, we've lived in the Alps, you know, in Germany and stuff like that. And it's great, but yeah, being out in the desert was absolutely spectacular.
Awesome.
Sweet, are we done?
Yep, so that was it. That was 40 questions, 40 answers.
I'm going to secure this guy, and then I'm going to go adjust my brakes, which will probably be the video 2 weeks from now.
Excellent. So if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up.
And click to subscribe if you think we've earned a subscription.
And comment below if you have an interesting response to any of these questions.
And we come out with RV and Airstream related videos just like this one every Tuesday.
Thanks for watching.